Hey you guys, it's Superstar0717. It has been a while since I've made a video. I've been dealing with a lot of different things. School has been really busy. The autofocus on the 1080p camera that I've been using, it like stopped working, so I had to send it back, and I just barely got it back like this Monday, which was 3 or 4 days ago. And then the most random thing, I had my credit card information stolen. So I've been dealing with, like the other day I got a package from Amazon, and it was just like 40 things of toothpaste. Like just the most random things that whoever stole my credit card's been ordering. The other day I got like a bunch of hair, like that Bosley hair stuff. I don't know, it's like the sample. I got like a bunch of different sample stuff. Like just someone's been doing a lot with my credit card. And so I've been dealing with that. Whenever I get them, I have to call the company, follow through, mail them back. It's just a pain in the ass. Luckily everything's somewhat taken care of, and hopefully I'll get my credit card, I guess, like reinstated before Avacyn Restored is released, so I can pay for my cards that I want to buy from the new set pre-orders. But I haven't made a video in a while. Like I said, my camera is still acting a little funny, so I thought I'd just do a video of some of the different preview cards that I believe are going to be pretty decent coming up. So these are just from the Magic the Gathering Facebook page. There are some different cards that have been spoiled in other places, but they're foreign translations or just different things like that. So I thought I'd just go with whatever's on here. It's it's a convenient place to look up images and things like that, and so we can go from there. One thing though, I haven't really been keeping up with any Magic news. But I haven't seen any werewolves spoiled, and I know the whole storyline of Avacyn Restored is that the werewolves were tamed, and I've seen some like wolf, WOLFIR, wolfier cards that are coming out, and I want to know if those are the new werewolves, and if you guys know, just let me know. Like, I haven't been able to keep up with it because of school and everything set, other things like that. What your favorite card is, that'd be cool. So the first card that I'm talking about today is Angel's Tomb. For 3 mana, it becomes a 3/3 white angel artifact whenever a creature enters the battlefield. So just in general, cards like this, that give you, it's 3 mana for nothing originally, but whenever a creature enters the battlefield, it'll become a 3/3 angel with flying. And it's also an artifact, so, Tempered Steel players, for a couple months, you'll be able to use this. But just in general, like a 3/3 every turn for free is pretty neat. Maybe it's not the greatest card in the set, but when I saw this, it's a uncommon, you'll probably draft it, and I think this card would be excellent for draft. Draft is something that I've been getting into recently. I haven't been doing so well in Standard. Just all my decks get blanked by Elish, and so, Angel's Tomb is definitely a very good card for draft, maybe even for Standard. I'm trying to work into an Angel deck, and so you do have a lot of high-costing Angels, and a 3 mana, 3/3 white angel artifact for like a creature that you drop on turn 4 or something like that. It's just really good. And they did make it an artifact so that it wouldn't work with some other cards that are in the set that require non-artifact, non-tokens, things like that. So Angel's Tomb is definitely a pretty decent card, one that I definitely think was going to see some decent play in draft and maybe in Standard. So the next card is Vexing Devil. This card is ridiculous. My only complaint about this set so far, actually I have a couple of complaints. It seems like this set is way different than the other sets, and maybe that's just me, but like originally it was horror, vampires and werewolves, and I understand that in this set it's kind of like the humans and the good side has fought back, but it just seems like the creatures are bringing out like devils and spirits and elementals, not necessarily spirits, but elementals and things like that. It's kind of more of a traditional Magic set as opposed to like the Innistrad horror theme that we've been used to for these last 2 sets. And also, the rares in this set, like Vexing Devil is a $15 pre-order. There's a land card, I think it just got spoiled recently. It was Cavern of Souls. It's like a $23 rare. Just like cards like that. Like, I've already seen a couple of rares that are really expensive, and maybe it's just the pre-order price. But it seems like for me, for Innistrad, there was Snapcaster Mage, which was like a $30 rare. And I think that was the most expensive rare in the set. And in the second set, I don't think there was really any just basic rares, not mythics, but just rares that were worth that much. And it just seems to me that this set is full of like extremely good rares that are probably going to be short print, which means that when you draft it, you're going to get these like janky rares that you can't do much with. Whereas Vexing Devil, if you drafted it, you know, you have a 4/3 for 1 that will either do 4 damage to a player, you know, or you know you have a 4/3. So, you know, that's one of the things that I've noticed, that there's just these broken rares that I just don't see how this draft format, you know, is going to balance out. But maybe that's just, you know, me. So Vexing Devil, you know, deals 4 damage to them, or they have a 4/3 for 1, which is ridiculous. Taking 4 on the first turn for 1 is insane. And definitely, there's some pretty decent red cards in this set. You know, I'm not really a strictly red player. I like green. I've liked blue recently, and I love white, so definitely red is definitely something to consider for this set. Up next, we have a Thunderous Wrath. 6 mana, deal 5 damage to target creature or player, but the Miracle, if you play it off of the Miracle, you deal 5 damage to them for 1 mana, which is extremely efficient. It's a uncommon, which is really good. I definitely, you know, with this card, it definitely makes me want to kind of retool the whole Snapcaster Werewolf deck. I mean, you know, in that deck, it was like we had Burn, but it was alright Burn. It was never amazing. If you could just ponder and set it up so you top deck Thunderous Wrath and just hit them for 5, like, I mean, that would be huge, especially because you have like your werewolves that are going to be flipping, things like that. I just think that would be so awesome. And yeah, so Thunderous Wrath, it's not very good on the 6 cost, but the 1 Miracle for 5. When I first saw that, I just was blown away. It's like, this is way too powerful. So Thunderous Wrath is a great card. Up next, another Miracle card, which I think this card is just broken. For blue, being able to set this up is almost ridiculously easy. You know, with Gitaxian Probe in certain decks, you know, it becomes a little less awesome, but obviously, you know, if you're running Temporal Mastery, you're going to want to drop a lot of the Gitaxian Probe so that you don't draw into it, you know, the second draw of your turn. But I think this card is ridiculous. The Mythic Rare, I think last I checked its pre-order was like $25. And oh my god, 2 mana, like Miracle with Ponder and just all these other ways to set up your deck is ridiculous. So, I mean, yeah, definitely pre-order this one. This one looks awesome. Definitely looks like a card that is going to make the format a little different. I know that land, Cavern Souls, or Cavern of Souls, really kind of hurts blue. And I think this is just a way to kind of balance that out, because having a creature type that cannot be countered is very powerful against blue, where most of our you know, defense is countering creature spells. So Temporal Mastery. Up next, Druid's Repository. 3 mana. Whenever a creature you control attacks, put a charge counter on it. I think this is pretty interesting because it's not like a tap effect. You can just, you know, enchantment, you know, attack with all your creatures, and then, you know, add mana. I was thinking of trying to work this into like maybe a white-green angel deck, since a lot of your cards are really high cast and cost. You just want to get them out there as soon as possible. You know, I thought it was a neat card. I don't think it's going to be a broken card. Once again, drafted will be pretty decent. But I definitely think this is one of the cards that I think will do very well. Maybe even in my werewolf deck, or my wolf aggro deck, whenever the full set is spoiled, we can update that for you guys. So, Druid's Repository, a neat card. Nothing broken, but, you know, you never know. Another card that I'd like to talk about is Angel of Jubilation. 4 mana, 3/3, flying. However, it gives other non-black creatures +1/1, and players can't pay life or sacrifice creatures to cast spells or abilities. This card is, you know, fantastic. Gristlebrand is a very, very good card in this set. Obviously, it's very high cost, and, you know, if someone does figure out a way to bring it out, you know, maybe with Frights or other methods of cheating cards into play, you know, that can definitely become an issue. You know, just being able to give a Lord effect that's very general, other non-black creatures. Obviously, you're running triple white for the Angel of Jubilation, so that usually probably will never conflict. But you never know. And just, I mean, in general, paying life, you know, you can't Gitaxian Probe, you know, that really shuts down Gut Shot, you know, different things like that. Obviously, decks that you're going to be playing this in won't lose to Gut Shot, but I mean, just in general, like, shutting down so many, you know, free cards, if you will, is really, really going to help this Angel deck out. And I think this card is just sick. The artwork is neat. You know, it's not a ridiculous 9 casting cost Angel. And I definitely think this is going to be a cool card to play with. I'm definitely going to start working on an Angel deck for the next set. So I'm not a black Magic player. I've never really played black. I think I've kind of messed around with it once, and it just wasn't for me. But for this, the last card, Angel of Jubilation, I believe stops this card. But Killing Wave, pay X and black, and for each creature its controller, its controller sacrifices it unless he or she pays X life. I think you can just sweep the board. This is just another awesome sweeper for blue-black control, for black in general, and it is just fantastic. I mean, just cleaning the board. They have Black Sun Zenith, Curse of Death's Hold, all these other sweeper effects that just wreck your board, and then you have to deal with this. I think it's going to be very good. It's a rare, and I think this card is going to do a lot of work in Standard. So up next, this card is probably my favorite card of the set right now. It is 5 casting cost, which is very high. But I was thinking maybe working it into like an Angel ramp deck, something to make it work. That's where I like to get a lot of ideas from you guys, because a lot of you guys are really good Magic players, and I appreciate the advice that you guys can bring to this. But we have a 5 casting cost flying Angel. Whenever Herald of War attacks, put a +1/1 counter on it. Angel spells and human spells you cast cost 1 colorless less to cast for each 1/1 counter. So you attack twice with it. Suddenly your huge angels become decent casting costs. Finding a way to cheat this into play would be awesome. Just other awesome things that you could do with this card. I think this card is going to be very good, and I think that it's going to really fuel the engine of your deck. And I want to, whenever the full set is spoiled, I'm pretty sure they're going to release the rulings on this. But if you have 2 Herald of Wars, I think I don't know if they would stack, but that would be pretty neat if the -1 colorless stacked. It would really make the deck ridiculously fast, and I think that would just be awesome. So Herald of War, definitely a cool card that I've been looking at and pre-ordering and things like that. So up next, there's not many. This is what I was thinking about Wolfier. There's not many Wolf cards that have been spoiled. There's actually some that are decent. But I think this one for 5 mana, which we're already running somewhat of a ramp deck with the Wolf deck that I'm running now. But being able to pair it with something and give it +4/4 is fantastic. So you drop your 5-drop. If you have another creature on board, let's say you have a Mayor of Avabrook, he becomes a 5/5 on the human side, and then you have an 8/8. Just different combinations like that I think are really neat. It's just awesome. This guy for 5 mana, which is not a lot, you can Green Sun Zenith for him, other things like that. Being able to give +4/4 to anything is ridiculous. I'm really excited for this card for the deck. I think this card is going to really allow us to have a decent matchup against Elishnorn, because she'll just blank the -2/2, and you'll still have 2 creatures with +2/2. Which is really nice. The deck's really been lacking in that department, being able to survive the Elish drop, and I think this will really help us out in the future. So another card that I've been looking at, Entreat the Angels. I think this card is badass. For 2x and then triple white, which is a lot. You put angel tokens onto the battlefield, 4/4s. However, for the Miracle, which is significantly cheaper, you pay X and 2 whites to activate the same effect. This card is pre-ordering for about $5 right now, which I think is pretty decent. It's a mythic rare, and I think if an angel deck did work out with the other lords that we have for angels, the one that I talked about a minute ago, these are not just 4/4s; these are often 5/5s, maybe even 6/6s, and I think you can really get the ball rolling on that. And this card just is very interesting to me. I think it's going to be a very good card. And hell, even if you put it with Intangible Virtue, you set up your early cards like Intangible Virtue, Shrine of Loyal Legions. These guys just get huge, and you just have a huge, backup, win condition. So Entreat the Angels is a very good card. Up next, probably one of the most ridiculous cards in the set. I think it is kind of weak, 0/1, but if you're running this in the Werewolf deck, it'll be a 1/2 with it'll be a 1/2 with Mayor of Avabrook for 3, which isn't bad. But tap, add 3 mana of any color to your mana pool, spend it only to cast creature spells. For the Angel deck, like I said, we're going maybe green-white, maybe blue-white. I'm not exactly sure. But if we were to go green-white, Somberwood Sage would just speed the deck up ridiculously. Turn 4, being able to cast, if you hit all your land drops, like a 7-drop Angel, is ridiculous. It fixes your mana, just crazy stuff. I'm extremely excited for this card. It is fantastic. There's just I can't say enough about how awesome this card is going to be when it releases. Definitely pre-order it when you can. But this card, to me, seems ridiculously broken. Up next, we have two more. Terminus. Put all creatures on the bottom of your library for 6, or for 1, the Miracle, you can do the same effect. I think this would just be fantastic. There's not really many ways to get rid of Elish Norn. You can put her in the graveyard, but she just comes back. Putting her on the bottom of the deck is like a pretty surefire way to deal with the threat for a decent amount of time, in addition to other threats. Deals with Wormcoil quite nicely. Just put it in the bottom of the library. You just don't have to deal with it anymore. And I really, really like this card. I think it's going to be awesome for that Angel deck. And, I think the deck really has some serious potential for this next set. And the last card that I'm going to talk about today is Archwing Dragon. 4 mana, flying haste. At the end of the turn, it returns to your hand. I think this card's pretty neat. Being able to attack, poke with it, goes back to your hand. Next turn, attack, poke with it, goes back to your hand. We've only seen, I believe, 2 other dragons from Innistrad block, and I believe this is a third. And I think this is definitely the best one that we've seen so far. This card's going to do a lot of work in just various decks. Just being able to poke with it and then put it back into your hand. Especially, it costs 4, but with that Cavern of Souls, it'll cost 3, and it can't be countered. 3/4/4 flying haste is just awesome. I cannot wait for this card to come out. I think this is going to be a pretty neat card. Definitely make me consider playing red again. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. If you guys have any questions, comments, want to let me know any cool cards that are going to be spoiled soon, or your favorite card that's been spoiled, definitely let me know. I started using Twitter again, so if you want to follow me on Twitter, I think that'd be cool. My Twitter username is just my YouTube username, so Superstar0717. It's more of a personal Twitter, so if you guys want to keep up with my life or whatever, that'd be cool. I definitely want to get my follower count up. I think I have like 50 followers, and I don't know, I'll follow you back, so definitely do that. I will follow you back. That's the thing that I've been trying to get onto, is following my followers. So thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate you guys staying with the channel and not giving up on me. I've been dealing with a lot lately. So rate, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching.